Hey, good morning, everyone, and good afternoon to those across the pond.
Afternoon.
So we got some barricades out here we can sit on, some little dance pads. You can also sit on the benches at the bus stop, and these are the audience seating with all the different claps and the little HUD that pops up lets you do different things. So that's kind of fun. And there's a little dance pad over there and the water spraying out of the fire hydrant as well. If you guys want to do like a row of dances in the fire hydrant, I can throw a couple more out there. So I'll go ahead and get started. Welcome everyone to this week's Geek Weekly meetup. The goal of Geek Weekly and Science Space is to connect people who share interests in all things geeky and to build a community around that here in localhost. Feel free to join in the discussion in voice as well as in chat. If you'd like to be involved here in the community, feel free to chat with me after the meeting. We also have a website where we post the Geek Weekly review, post a calendar, and link to our Discord server, and that's localhostconnection.com. As things grow here, we'll expand our website with additional information and functionality. There's all that in chat. So the agenda for today's meetup includes some introductions, discussion of some interesting news articles, the state of the viewer, and we're going to do a little geek trivia warm-up in preparation for the Geek Summer Camp Trivia Triathlon, where you'll get a chance to win 200 gold. And we also have some show and tell if anybody's got anything, and just some general conversation after that. So, post that in chat. There you are. So, everyone, let's start off with introductions. If you could please say in voice or chat what you are comfortable sharing with us, your science-based name if you're on voice, your geographic location, like what part of the world you're in, and what some of your geeky interests are. And I am Karsten Stark. I'm up in Washington State, and I'm into, I always say all things sci-fi, but yeah, programming, robotics, 3D printing, all that good stuff, and just general weird science of quantum mechanics. That really piques my interest. So, there's Sidearm. Sidearm says, "Are you on voice today, Sidearm? Or are you just typing?" Okay, he's quiet today. So Sidearm says he's from Texas, and he likes music composed using negative harmony. Then we got Inquisitive Loon over here. How about you, Inquisitive Loon?
I swim. I swim a lot.
Nice. Inquisitive Loon likes to swim. And we got Futurist here to my left. Futurist says he's a lawyer / programmer hybrid. That's awesome. Let's see. He's from the burbs north of New York City and to University. Programs lawyers, Dixie says. And then let's see, we got over here, we've got Rob Van Delft.
Hey, I'm here, but my fan is like a vacuum cleaner, they say. So, yay. I'm Disco Land. Oh wow. Since when I'm from Disco Land? I will put it. I will put it a little. I've quieted a bit. Do you hear voice now or not?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. I'm an IT engineer. I'm in Sciencebase for now a month, I think. And I built a little world, but I'm trying to get an MP3 stream going. It's subsonic. That's what I'm mainly doing at this moment. Yeah, of course, working 40 hours a week, but that's I'm just the normal guy.
Yep, it's always. Oh, I wish you could, have someone else take over the 40 hours a week, and then you have more time to play. That's how I feel about it. Let's see, and we got Dixie Chick over there. Welcome, Dixie.
Hello, hello. I am Dixie. Everybody in real life and games and everywhere calls me Dixie, but that's not my real name. Um, I'm in Texas. I'm also a one of the community managers here in Science Space, as my uh, 40 hours a week or my job, even though I don't do that much. Um, my other jobs are really, really geeky. I am a cow whisperer. Um, I have lots of cows, and I like to talk to them and make them soft and pretty. And yeah, I'm a farmer by trade, but I also am a community manager here in Science Space, and I am here for you guys all the time, even if I don't attend the events. But I do try to get around to as many events as I can. Yep, that's me. Oh, and I love
Awesome.
sci-fi.
Yes. Cool. And AJ just walked in. Yeah, so keep going around the circle here. AJ, welcome. So what part of the world are you from, and what kind of geeky interests do you have?
Well, I'm from Florida. It's summer here at least 9 months of the year. We like to say we have summer in January. Geeky interests I have are sci-fi, reading just about anything I can get my hands on, including the backs of cereal boxes, and my pets, which include reptiles, and I seriously nerd out to all of those. That's it.
Yay. Cool. And then we got Mimi. I don't know, can you hear us yet, Mimi? Oh, I think let's type this out here real quick. So Mimi says she's from Maine, and there's a heat advisory, and geeks are her five sons. It's awesome. And we got Brisana over there. Welcome, Brisana. Awesome. So Prasanna is from Indiana, and her geekiness is sci-fi and reading and MMORPGs. Sweet. Let's see. Did I miss anyone? Inquisitive Loon wants the ice cream truck to start vending. I think we're gonna have to break into it later. So looks like that's everyone. So welcome everyone, and we'll start off with some news. So the first interesting thing we came across this week was that, oh, and I should also mention Artemis she's on another call, so she couldn't be with us this morning. Anyway, so the first bit of news is Google is working on tattoos that turn your body into a touchpad. And so that's pretty wild.
Okay, I have to talk. How is tattoo body touchpad going to work with social distancing?
Well, I think you're supposed to be touching yourself, not other people. That sounds bad.
You said it, I didn't.
So I was reading the headline of this, and it's like, oh my gosh, like, are people really gonna like get a permanent tattoo to control their smartphone or something? Like, that's seems a little wild. But if you read into it, they're actually talking about rub-on tattoos that have little bits of electrical filaments in there and things like that. So it is actually pretty interesting, the different sensors that they can do. Like they can detect like the curling of your finger and things like that, which could actually be really useful for things like VR and stuff like that as well. We're all going to be beeping as we walk around. Let's see. It was a little weird. So the article doesn't go into a lot of depth, but if you click on, there's a link in there for the white paper, and it goes into detail of all the different sensors and how they're planning on using this. But apparently they're able to get like really accurate movement and sensor data out of it. Yeah, Inquisitive Loon says soon they'll discover it causes cancer. Well, if you're in the state of California, everything causes cancer. So that is a good thing. Good question though. Like, if it was a permanent tattoo, how many people here would actually get a permanent tattoo that would like enhance your interaction with electronics in some way?
Oh, me. Totally.
You would?
Oh, yeah.
I'm just imagining the upgrades. That doesn't sound comfortable. I have one permanent tattoo and it wasn't bad, but it's also very small. And I can't imagine having to get re-tattooed for an upgrade. You'd end up with full sleeves.
Oh yeah.
I know, right?
Which, if you want full sleeves, that's cool, but they need not. I would hate to have every square inch of real estate on my body that I could reasonably reach taken up with, Google Tattoo version 1.0, 1.2, 2.0, and come on. No, not happening.
And could you imagine if it was a permanent thing that, hundreds of years down the line, somebody digs up your very well preserved body and goes, ooh, these tattoos must be some kind of hieroglyphic.
Yes, exactly. It was some mystical thing that we all wore. It was a worldwide religion. Clearly, we had unified under one government, and yeah, no. Okay.
Yeah, get computer viruses from walking by other people. Yeah. Yeah, that is a good point, though. Technology moves so fast in its advancements that you'd be obsolete by the time you got the tattoo.
Actually, there is in Europe, in Scandinavia, people have, you know how you have a chip in your credit card and you tap the card against the charge machine. They are having them embedded in, I forget where it is, their wrists, I think, or something, part of their hand. And they just hold their hand up against it to charge something.
Wow. Mimi says scratch and sniff body option. Yeah, that'd be awesome.
One of the places I used to work is starting to chip the employees because we had door codes for just about every door that we would have to go through. And only certain people had certain codes. If you didn't have the code, you didn't go through that door. And they're starting to chip people. And I've had my ex coworkers messaging me, do you think this is safe? I don't know if I want to get chipped and all this other stuff. And I'm like, technology. And they're like, oh, it's the mark of the beast and God's going to come down on it. I'm just kind of giggling, going, yeah, I don't work there anymore.
But yeah,
I wonder if
could just see
that
him
be legally
tracking
challenged.
down employees. Like, oh, the employee got loose, so I got to go, catch him like a dog catcher. Is this your stray employee?
Yeah, I just wonder about chipping employees. Sometimes employees leave a job in a hurry or upset or whatever. I quit and walk out the door type thing. Do they go after him and get the chip back or something? I don't know how that works. Hey, we're going to need to confiscate your chip.
It could be like Futurama. I don't
Well,
want
they
to be
could.
chipped. Well, then you'll be fired. And he says, fine. Out of a cannon into the sun.
Well, they could just do it the way they did in the Matrix and send some weird little bug in through your navel to retrieve whatever it was. I mean, that would be totally disgusting. Well, never mind. I didn't say that.
Chip leggers. Yeah. So another interesting bit of news was that the African continent is slowly peeling apart. Scientists say a new ocean is being born. Now, that's pretty wild, but it's obviously it's going to take millions of years to happen. But but it is interesting. They have pictures in there of some of the cracks that are opening up, and just a an in-depth study of what's going on there. It's kind of interesting to see it happening live. But it also kind of made me think about the earthquakes and stuff. Here in the Pacific Northwest, we have the Cascadia subduction zone, and about every 300 years, I believe, we have an earthquake that's over a 9-pointer, and we're overdue. So I look forward to that someday. Well, maybe.
It's interesting because it reminds, I made a funny comment there. It reminds me of my neighbor's driveway, but where we live, they regularly have to go patch the sidewalks because of, gradual subsidence under different things, especially if somebody's water main leaks and flushes out a gap under the road, it'll crack. And they come in periodically and replace all that. And that's just over a period of, say, decades. And your article is something on millions of years, but we're like tiny little ants living on a huge changing surface that changes so slowly, and we move so quickly, we think it's permanent. And it's not.
Yeah. Yeah, it's pretty interesting how things change here on Earth in vast amounts of time. Time is relative. AJ, in other news, AJ put on makeup today. I thought you were going to relate that somehow to the African continent peeling apart. So let's see. Another bit of news. DDR5 memory spec is finally official, but hold on to your DDR4 RAM modules. It's probably going to be a couple years till DDR5 comes out, and then we'll have to upgrade our computers or be left in the dust. But product timelines for the next couple years don't include it, so we're at least safe for a couple of years. But what's interesting about the DDR5 is that you can go up to 128 gigabyte RAM module. So if you have 4 of those in there, you could have 512 gigabytes of RAM in your computer. That will for sure run Sciencebase. Guarantee it.
Well, it's funny you mentioned that because I just had an aha. I was at another meeting the other day and at a web world thingy, 3D web worlds with a Z, and I was showing them my little diagram that you guys saw last week about is it a web access web world or is it a downloadable client web world? And the aha I had after I talked to this person who has written the web world is that the Chrome browser, the Safari browser, the Edge browser, the Firefox browser are downloaded clients themselves. And just because you can access a 3D web world using Chrome, you still had to download the Chrome viewer. And the Chrome viewer has tons of performance specifications. We're just not used to messing with them. For example, I had to turn hardware acceleration on. I didn't even know there was a hardware acceleration switch Chrome, and there's hundreds of them, and all the browsers have this. So web worlds are not a magic solution, and when Sciencebase comes out with its upgraded web access thingy, we'll still probably be fiddling with switches and settings, and I guess some of it will address what you're talking about, which is the memory that it can address and use, and the web graphics library that it can access and use, and it's still going to need something from your device. Over.
Yeah. So the hardware acceleration in browsers, I think, is on by default typically, but yeah, it's trying to get things to fit within a web browser's. Although the first virtual world I was ever in was Cybertown, and that all ran within a web browser. It was based on VRML. So, and then one last bit of news here is that the oldest surviving light reveals the universe's true age. And I thought this was going to solve the big debate that's been going on because everybody, all these scientists have got different they're coming up with different numbers for the age of the universe based on, I don't know, how fast the different systems are moving and away from the center in different directions or something like that. I don't remember the details, but I thought, oh man, this will be the one that solves that, right? But no, it's just one side of that debate. Is like, hey, look, we've got this new data here, and it jives with everything else we've got. So that's more evidence that our side's correct, but they still can't disprove the other people. So there's still this big debate. But it's interesting that they think that the universe is 13.77 billion years, give or take 40 million. So. Right. At least they've seen the light, Rob says.
Well, I'll say another geeky thing from physics point of view. One technique physicists and such are doing is they'll use estimates of something like the age of the universe, but this is another thing I'm thinking of, and use three different models and predictions. And they use the three different models to kind of establish, I mean, they draw it on a piece of paper. It's like three lines on a piece of paper, and where they overlap is like a little triangle area. So the triangle where the three models, which give different predictions, but there's a little bit of overlap across all three of them. And they say, okay, it's probably in there, Like if we were trying to guess Mimi's cup size, Bree would estimate, let's say, a D, and AJ might estimate a C plus, and then I might estimate a D minus. So if we combine those together, we're probably going to triangulate in on Mimi's actual bra size that she's wearing this morning for the event. And I know I can say this because she's not listening, but on a serious note, actually the physicists do estimate things that way, or the good ones are lately.
Let's see, I'm just sending a link here to someone. All right, so that's the last bit of news I had. We have the state of the viewer, though. The current staging viewer is 2B55, which I've noticed several bug fixes, including a fix for the blue skin bug, the blue man group, or whatever you want to call it. So, Inquisitive Loon, you're safe to wear your favorite shirt again if people are on 2B55.
Wonderful.
Cool.
Thank you.
And then the current preview.
The problem with that is, to my understanding, which I'm learning a lot. But the problem with that is if he does wear his favorite shirt, and if it's the shirt I'm thinking it is, it'll break everybody else that's not in 2B55.
Yes, that's true.
Yeah. So make sure your friends are using 2B55.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah, fun.
So I'll post that here. So the current preview viewer is 2B54, which has a lot of bug fixes in it as well. But I don't think it includes the that blue skin bug fix yet. And then the live viewer is still at 1B44. So to get the staging viewer, you pretty much have to do a manual. You use the manual download link to get the zip file and unzip that. And they'll probably make an update to the viewer tomorrow or something, so all this will be out of date. But yes, they fixed fog. Apparently, was that 50? Was it 54? 2B54, I think. They fixed fog. So it started showing up in some regions that had it on unintentionally. But of course, I tried to add fog here in localhost and I couldn't get it to work. So I'm not sure what's going on there, but I didn't really spend a lot of time working on it.
Well, what is your fire hydrant using? Is that fog?
Now that's a particle system shooting out sideways. And then I put a little water, a couple of planes on the street there, put some water textures on them and stuff. The fog, I don't know if the regular fog system in Unity is particle based. Yeah, the fog issue was some regions had fog enabled, but up until 2B54 you couldn't see the fog. So then when 54 suddenly came out, suddenly all these different regions had fog in them that weren't supposed to, because it just wasn't seen that that they had it. All right, so we got some 10-question trivia coming up next. The first question, this is a warm up for the trivia triathlon, which is 3 answers that get to win some gold if you answer correctly. And those are going to be the really hard questions. So for the warm up, we'll start with 1980s video games. And in what 1985 NES game would trek all over Hyrule questing for the Triforce? I still have my NES as well. Yeah, that's what I did too. I switched to my Pi and just put the emulator on there. So I have all of it in one system. I don't have to mess, but I'm still hanging on to that NES because it's kind of a collector now. Maybe not really, but kind of. So the answer If no one's going to guess it, is The Legend of Zelda. So, next question is The Lord of the Rings. What is the name of Elrond's home? Yeah, I know, right? Chevron usually gets all of these. Rob's got it. Rivendell. Woo. All right, so in Star Trek, the original series, what is the Enterprise's registry number? Futures got that one. NCC 1701. Later ships would add a letter suffix. So, in the Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone, what's Harry's birthday? Yep, Rob's got it. It's July 31st of 1980. So here's another Legend of Zelda based question. The Triforce is separated into what three parts? Left, middle, and right. Basically, but what they represented was power, courage, and wisdom. Alright, so let's see. In the classic board games, what board game features start, home, safety zones, and sliders? No, not Monopoly. Chevron, where are you? It's not Candyland. Oh, it's getting closer. No, not Shoots and Ladders. I'll say we need a Canadian to say it. Clue? No. Clue. So it's the game of sorry. So, Game of Thrones. The first time Tyrion asks for trial by combat, who acts as his champion? Thanks for coming, Rob. So the answer to that one is Braun. So this is an interesting one. Star Wars: A New Hope. What character has the first line of dialogue? Yep, Future's got it. C-3PO, voiced by Anthony Daniels. And 1950 sci-fi featuring a molecular transporter and a pesky insect. What 1958 film starred Al Hedison, Patricia Owens, and Vincent Price? The Fly, yes. Everybody. Yep, that's The Fly. Alright. Insect gave it away. Yep. So, in physics, the first ever image of a black hole's event horizon was published on April 10th, 2019. Where is that particular black hole? I think that is the... Hmm. So I think that might be right, but the answer it says here is the core of Galaxy M87. But I do remember that coming up when I was looking at it, so I'll have to look into that. All right, so the final three, and this is the trivia triathlon. So anybody that can answer these questions correctly will win 200 gold. Okay, so you guys ready? Flexes his fingers. Okay, so in geometry, what's the formula for calculating the volume of a cylinder?
4/3 pi r cubed.
Not quite. Math. Close though.
Pi r squared h. I thought you said sphere.
Yep, sidearms, got it. It's pi times r squared times h.
A sphere would have been so much cooler. Come on.
Let's see. So the next one is Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. What is the answer to the ultimate question of life, the universe, and everything? And how could that answer be applicable from a technical standpoint for computers?
I got the first part. Before you finished the question, I got the first part.
Yeah, that's the first part, 42.
I demand a gold star to be hung over my head. I was told by someone to say asterisk.
Yeah. Yep. So 42 is the ASCII code for the asterisk symbol, which is basically a wildcard for everything on computers. So yay, AJ! It is interesting though too, if you look up how 42 is a significant number, there's actually a ton of stuff out there. It really is kind of interesting.
Yeah, I was going to mention that because I know Inc. was joking saying quantum or something, but I also, Carson, have been running into 42 all over the place. Everybody loves that number as it's been made so famous. Anyway, over. I just found one link there and pasted it.
Cool. Okay. So let's see. We got what was the first networked computer game? I was surprised to learn this. Some people actually called it a virtual world as well, but I don't know. I don't really consider it a virtual world myself. It's not Rise of the Middle Kingdom. Zork? Not quite Zork. It was a couple of years before Zork. False Cave? No. Not Pac-Man. It's like the first first networked multiplayer game. Yeah. Inquisitive Lynn definitely wants that Sunday. Yeah. So if you Google it or Bing it, I think it comes up as the first one if you like the first networked game, PC networked computer game.
I got Maze War.
Yep. Yeah, so in 1974, Maze War introduced the first graphical virtual world, providing a first-person perspective view of a maze in which players roamed around shooting at each other. It was also the first networked game in which players at different computers could visually interact in a virtual space. The initial implementation was over a serial cable, but when one of the authors began attending MIT in 1974, the game was enhanced so that it could be played across the ARPANET, forerunner of the modern internet. Yeah, that's interesting. Flash Gordon. So we got a little time for show and tell. If anybody's been working on anything,
Me.
or Science Space, either way. Yeah, go for it.
Me. So I got this idea, and you can all check on your own. If you click on Shop, and you click on Region, and you sort by silver so that cheap free stuff is towards the top, and scroll down to around the 4,000 silver level, you can buy a copy of Breakroom Campus, which is, it's the third break room. It's the one that has like a gazebo thingy. So I bought it. And then I went to my home region and I swapped out my template from my contemporary boring marble glass house to Breakroom Campus. And after a couple of false starts, it worked. And then I went into my home region which now looks like Break Room Campus. And I walked over and I tested the webcam and I tested the share screen, and they all work. And I have 4 private conference area sound and chat bubbles and an arena. And I'm going, oh my God, it works. So that's my report.
Cool. Yeah. No. Surrey's been experimenting with getting voice zones and stuff working in its region. That's cool. You can see it all right there. I might have to load that up somewhere and take a peek at it in the room editor and see what all is going on in there.
Yeah, I think my next experiment would be to, I know that my free home space, and Dixie is the expert here, but allows 10 concurrent people in my space. And I could have a meeting of up to 10 people there. And then if I got one of the next upgrades, whatever that is, I forget what the limits are, 20 people or whatever. But Inc. is asking, what's the big deal? Well, Inc. and I are spending every Friday night in Verbella at social hour. And the hot topic is, if I buy a private team room, which is $100 a month, or I buy a private campus, which is $2,500 a month, can I rent it out to offset my costs? And Verbella says, no, you have to pay for it all yourself. You cannot rent it out. You know, tell them to come to us and buy another $100 or $2,500 a month subscription. So I'm kind of asking around in SignSpace, gee, can I rent out my space? And so I'm still kind of waiting to see what the answers are. And Dixie, if you want to pass that on, go for it. But I am asking other people that theoretically would know better. 10 a month for 20. Look at that. For $10 a month, I could have 25 people in there. Does it have, where does it need to be, AJ, to get, well, I don't know. That the price comparison outshines Verbella. So that's kind of my other geek project right now. I'm now comparing pricing plans between Second Life, ScienceSpace, Verbella, Kitely, which is OpenSim, and a bunch of others. Anyway, that's my report. Over.
Hey, welcome, Dragon Girl. Yeah, that's it's definitely interesting. So obviously you can see here, this is what I worked on yesterday for a little bit. It's the street party. It's just kind of
I
thrown
like it.
together.
Like it a lot, and may I just say, please don't turn the permanent night on again, or put a switch on the wall so I can turn the lights on. That darkness really kills my mood.
Oh yeah. Yeah, maybe I'll, if I have some time, I'll leave it like this for the week, and I think if I get some time by next weekend or something, maybe I'll put in a HUD or something to control the lighting on your end.
Yeah, kind of like Catacombs, although I don't know if the lighting model's the same, but in Catacombs, when I go there, I turn all the lights up. And in Second Life, you can turn permanent midday on or permanent night. If you like the evening, like AJ when she's flopping around in her giant dragon avatar, belching fire at people left and right after a hard day of hostessing. I get that, you know, so it'd be nice to have a choice. I guess that's all I'm saying.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. So has anyone else been working on anything interesting in real life or in ScienceSpace?
I'm reading a book called 88 Names by Matt Ruff, and it's really cool. It's set in a MMORPG setting, but several different ones. They're all fictional, but it ends up expanding into real life governments and all kinds of intrigue and stuff like that. So if anyone's into stuff like that, check it out. 88 Names, Matt Ruff. That's all.
Interesting. To look into that one. My mind just went totally blank. I had something I was going to throw in there, and I don't remember what it was. Oh, the MMORPG. That reminds me. Has anybody here watched the TV or I guess web series called AFK? I'm guessing not. Anyways, if you're into virtual worlds MMOs, it's kind of a funny take on what would happen if people woke up in the game, like in an MMORPG, and nobody knew how to get out.
Ooh,
So you
I have to
basically
watch
took on.
that.
Yeah,
Wow.
it's definitely like a lower budget web series, whatever. But they did an awesome job, and the jokes in it that have to do with MMOs and computer games and stuff in general are pretty good.
I totally geeked out on the guild. I'm just saying.
Oh
That
yeah,
was
yeah, it
awesome
reminds
one.
me a lot of that.
So yeah, I'd totally be into this. I had to look it up, and I'm like, ooh, this is actually the guild on steroids, maybe? I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you want to date my avatar? Ow! Cat! Just had a cat scratch me. Ouch.
So we're at the top of the hour now. Let's go ahead and wrap things up. But if y'all like to hang out and chat, that's awesome. So we did have. What else did I have on here that we didn't quite get to? Oh, the question of who would you be in a parallel universe?
Hmm. I would be me with money. No, just kidding.
Be like the evil copy of the parallel, like the mirror universe from Star Trek or something, right?
Okay, so now that we're officially over with the official event, anything we talk about is fair game. And I want to mention the book Anathem again, because I just reread it. And Anathem by Neil Stevenson, the same guy that wrote Snow Crash, which supposedly is what inspired Philip to make Second Life, which then led to Science Base. Totally talks about who might you be in multiple parallel worlds or polycosms. And it is just, I love that book so much because of the ideas and because it's so human. He makes fun of geeks in an affectionate way. And artists might like this one. He invents things like a library grape. You grow this grape to make wine, but they cultivated the grape so that it remembers all the grapes that have ever been cultivated and all the kinds of red, white, blush wine. And it automatically adjusts to the climate and the temperate zone and the soil conditions, and it will never make the same grape twice. And if you cut it, it remembers the insult to its vine, and it'll make it kind of a sour tasting wine. And if you're nice to it, it'll make a gorgeous tasting wine. And he spends like a page just describing how they made the library grape. He's obviously making fun of people that like wine, and he's doing it in an affectionate man. Yeah, sentient grape, exactly. And then I'm not going to spill any beans, but I just had to reread it. It was so good, talking about multiple cosmoses and universes and throwing in all the geek stuff you could think about, which I brought up because Kaching, the local host book club, is meeting in a week and a half, I think, a week from this Friday. And for those that like sci-fi, you might want to come to that. I'll leave any further ads to the next meeting. Over.
Yeah, we're reading up on Bob. If anybody wants to hop on that and read the book before Friday after next, get in touch with me and I'll give them the relevant info. And then we also have a website where we're putting all of our book recommendations to vote on for the next book. Futurist is asking if anybody read about the latitude. I haven't read anything about that. It was a secret society experience in San Francisco. Interesting. Oh, interesting. That's cool. It reminds me of there's this band that I like called Starset that has this whole story behind it about this message that was sent back in time from the future to warn us about something coming, and they're trying to prevent it. And there's this whole backstory. And it's kind of cool like that. All the secret society stuff and everything. Some installation. That's awesome. All right, thanks for coming, AJ. It's good to see you. And I think you've answered two of the triathlon questions, so we'll have Dixie send you some gold.
I was just typing in a Discord about that, Karsten. Uh,
Yep, I got those written down.
awesome, thank you. I'm playing double duty at the moment. Yay! It's kind of like double dutch. I hope I didn't trip on any of the wires. Or the ropes.
Yeah, I know. I've been doing the same thing all morning too. I got my business partner asking me a bunch.
Oh, isn't that fun? I'm really lucky with the farm because my business partner is in New Zealand, and it's my brother. But yeah, I don't have to tell him much, so it's like, yay, whew.
Are you heading out, futurist? Review of Foresight literature. Yep, I'll definitely let Artemis know. She's been she's planning on going into massage therapy, right? And so with the whole COVID-19 thing, like the school she was going to, like they had to totally shut down, and now they've changed everything, how they do stuff, and yeah, so she's been doing these conferences in the morning here and stuff, so getting all set up for COVID and massage therapy.
Ooh, once she gets her license, she can take a trip down here to Texas.
Yeah.
She could write it off as a business expense.
Yep. That's part of the funny thing too. She's always talking about, well, as a massage therapist in Washington State, you got to do this like continuing education stuff, right? So every year you have to do so many credits and courses to keep up on the latest techniques and all this stuff. And she's saying, well, they do these, the classes for that, like at these kind of destination resorts and stuff, and we could go to some fancy place, and while I go to class, you can sit back and work on your laptop.
Exactly. I had a good friend that was a massage therapist, and I haven't had a massage therapist since she passed away a couple of years ago, but she loved the trips. The trips were just awesome, and she enjoyed doing that.
Yeah.
And she enjoyed the people too. So you gotta love people to be in that job.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what's funny, because Artemis is not super people person, but she loves helping people, and that's the big
Yeah.
thing.
She's got a helper's heart. I know that. Or like I like to say, the heart of a teacher.
Yeah.
Hey, quick question, Dixie. We still on for community meeting tomorrow? Community hour?
Yep. We're gonna have a barbecue.
Okay, and that's still 11 Central? 11 Central?
Oh, I don't know what time it is in my